Hey guys, it's Jake. I automated my insurance business to $6 million in annualized volume, and now I'm turning my attention to helping other businesses do the same. Today's video is all about AI voice agents and how to set them up and get them to make calls and set appointments for your business. So let's get started. Okay, so for starters, the tools that we're going to use are make.com, Go High Level, and Vappy AI. All three of them have free trials or free credits. Now you can use those in the beginning until you decide if this automation is going to work for you and your business or not. And then by the time the trial is over, you should have a pretty good idea if it is going to make sense for you. So once you make a Vappy account, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're going to create an assistant. So this is your AI assistant. I'm going to name mine Feet Up. So that's for my automation agency, Feet Up Automations. The first message. So basically, the first message is going to be either if there's an inbound call, it's going to be the first thing that your AI agent says. Or if it's an outbound call, same thing. It's going to be the first thing that they, say when somebody picks up. So I'm going to say, hey, this is Katie. I saw you were looking at our website. How can I help? That's not usually what I would say, but this is just kind of an example. So you can kind of put in whatever works in there for your business. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the previous prompt that I used from a different one. So basically the prompt is, just like if you were creating a prompt on ChatGPT, your prompt is just giving instructions for the AI. So that way they know how to, handle inquiries and things like that on the phone. So same kind of concept. You can add as much detail as possible, as much context. I would say for the model, you always want to make sure that you're using GPT 4o mini cluster because in my experience, that is going to give you the best overall combination of latency, like low latency, which is just basically the speed at which your AI responds to the person on the phone. Combination of low latency and high context. If you pick something like GPT 3.5, you're going to notice that it's missing out on a lot of context. There are certain things like they might repeat questions, multiple times. So those types of things you don't, it really is less authentic. So you want to make sure that, you're using a decent model. So in my experience, GPT 4o mini, that kind of strikes the right balance. So I'm going to select that. And then as far as the voice goes, I usually go with 11 Labs. So this one, I like to use the voice Katie because it's pretty realistic. So Katie, let's I'll skip over that this time. I'm just going to use a random voice. So I'm going to say, and you can kind of go through the voices and you can test them as well. You can go to 11 Labs and actually test the voices from there. But for this one, I guess I'll just go with Sarah. And then usually I like to use 11 Flash V2.5 because that is the fastest model for 11 Labs. So like out of all these different providers, 11 Labs easily has the most realistic voices. If you use most of these other models, people are going to pick up on it pretty quickly that it's AI. So you want to kind of avoid that. And then, you down here, so you can, if you hover over the, little icons where it says you can get an explanation of what each of these sliders are for. And the purpose of these is so that way you can adjust the voice settings of your AI agent. So this is very important. It is going to vary between every agent. Not all of them are going to, sound realistic or function properly with the same exact settings. So this is something that you need to actually go in yourself, have a chat with the AI agent, kind of listen to it, see, what it can improve on. Then you go back here and you actually adjust the settings of the AI agent from within your dashboard here. Okay. So I'm just going to leave it like that for right now, just for example sake. And then, so tools, we'll get back to the tools in a little bit. So, but the purpose of the tools is so that way, once we're actually running these automations, it can run webhooks in the middle of the call. And the purpose of those webhooks is so that way it can run specific functions in the middle of a call. Okay. So like setting appointments, setting follow-ups, dispositioning it, if you need to add a contact to the do not call list, stuff like that. All of those things can be configured in the tool section here. Okay. And then you're going to go in, you're going to publish that. You're going to go in and you're going to set up a phone number. So you can either buy a phone number directly through Vappy, or in my personal opinion, you should be using Twilio. So you can import a number through Twilio as well, which is pretty easy. You just copy your API key and token and all that kind of stuff. But I have a few numbers here, so I'm just going to use one of mine. So I'm going to use, for this one, feed up. Okay. So you set the number to that particular assistant, and then you're all good to go for right now with Vappy. So we'll come back to that in a second. Okay, so now you're going to go over to make.com and create a new scenario. And the first module of that scenario is going to be a custom webhook. Okay, so you're going to create a custom webhook, and you're going to click create, and you're going to call it Vappy. Okay, and then you're going to save it. All right, so now you're going to copy that webhook. So copy the address. And now we're going to go back over to Vappy. So I'm going to pause this real quick and go back over to Vappy. Okay, so now I'm back over in Vappy. I'm going to create a new tool. I'm going to click on make. You don't need to select a scenario. That's fine. You're going to take the copied webhook from the make scenario, and you are going to paste it, and then you're going to enter save. All right, then you're going to click next, and then you are going to build out your schema. So what we're going to do, so essentially with these properties, we want to tell them what the purpose is. So the purpose here is going to be set appointments, and we're going to tell it what its purpose is. So we're going to say the purpose is to set an appointment with the individual you're talking to. All right. So pretty straightforward there. And then we can add additional properties as we go. Okay, so this next part is important because this is going to basically tell the AI what the tool is for. All right, so this is exactly what is going to actually trigger the webhook function during the middle of the call. So in this scenario, we want to set an appointment, right? So when the AI agent on the phone agrees on a specific time with that individual, then it's going to run that webhook call. And that's the purpose of this tool right here. So we're going to call it get appointment time. All right, we're going to type that out, and then we're going to hit next. That doesn't matter. We're just going to click create. All right, so we got that tool. Now we can move on to the next step. So I'm actually going to tweak this, that tool a little bit, because it's not the actual appointment time that triggers the webhook. It's when somebody says that they want to book an appointment. So actually what we're going to do is we're going to I'm going to change the tool name to book appointment. And then the purpose is to schedule an appointment with the customer. All right, all good there, and then it's saved. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to set up an HTTP module in make.com, your make.com scenario. For all of that, you're going to get the details from Vappy and the Vappy API documentation here. So I'm going to switch over to make.com here, and I'm going to make a basic auth request. So I'm going to select that. Correction, we're just going to select make a request. Okay, then we are going to put in the VAPI URL, and that would be api.vapi.ai/call. And this one is going to be a post request. So pretty much the difference between a get and a post means that a post is you're sending them the data, and get means you're receiving it. Okay, so this one in particular is going to be a post. Okay, and then for headers, the name is going to be authorization. And then the value is going to start with bearer. And then it's going to be your authorization token. So I'm going to switch back over to VAPI and find my auth token. All right, so you're going to select your API key from right here. You're going to copy it, and then you're going to take that back over to make. And then you're going to paste it. And I'm going to pause it so you can't see my key. All right, so I got that pasted, and then you can see here in the documents, the other header is going to be content type, and then application/JSON, which is basically just, so JSON is a Java string script that is used to transform data, basically. So that's what we're using here. So I'm going to enter that in as my item 2 under headers. Okay, so for us to test our AI agent, basically we want to, until we're completely done setting up our automation, we want the prompt pretty much just to go right into the set appointment function, because as soon as the user, or as soon as you, when you're talking to your AI agent, you tell it that you want to set an appointment, it'll automatically run that webhook. So we want to erase any other type of friction in between, the beginning and then also setting the appointment. So for right now, we're just going to run a super simple prompt that says, as soon as they want to set an appointment, run the set appointment function, which is the function that we created when we set up our webhook from make.com. Okay, so then I'm going to publish that. Now I'm going to come back over to make, and I'm going to start to run that webhook. And then I'm going to switch back over to VAPI, and I'm going to make an outbound call to myself. So you're going to go down here. You're going to go to the phone number that you have hooked up to that assistant, which is this one for me. I'm going to enter in my phone number. So this is the phone number that I have associated with my high-level account. And then I'm going to select the assistant, and I'm going to click outbound call. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to answer that call. And then we're going to watch the webhook. Hello?
Hey, this is Katie. I saw you were looking at our website. How can I help?
I want to set an appointment.
Of course. I'd be happy to help you with that. Can I have your name, please?
It's Jake.
Thank you, Jake. Could you please provide a bit of information about your business? This will help us prepare for our conversation.
I just want to set an appointment for tomorrow at 2 p.m.
One sec.
All right.
Got it, Jake.
All good.
I'll go ahead and schedule.
So you can see right now, like, until you really program, the AI, and I'll show at the end what like an actual good one will look like once you're done, kind of adjusting everything. But right now it's a little wacky just because we're, setting up the automation, we're making sure that everything is good to go. So you can see when I requested the appointment, that's when she runs the webhook to make.com. So that's what triggers that webhook to go off. So now that we have all the information from that webhook, we can start mapping the fields over to our HTTP module. So for this, you're going to need your assistant ID, which is shown. Oh, well, that's wacky. Okay. So you're going to need your assistant ID, which is shown right up here in the top left corner of your assistance page. And then you're going to need your phone number ID, which is right up here in the top of the phone number page. So all you have to do is click the copy buttons, save that to a notepad. We're going to come back to that in a second. So now you're going to come back over to your make scenario in the HTTP module. So you can see here that I have the item 2 for the headers, content type, and then application/JSON. And then you're going to add a body type, raw, and then content type, JSON, application/JSON. Within the request content, you're going to add a JSON string with assistant ID and then phone number at the bottom. All of that you can actually find in the documents as well, in case you want to be able to copy and paste it. So you just go to the VAPI documents, which I'll add in the comment in the description section. But pretty much what you're going to do is this is the string right here. You're going to replace some of these values. So obviously we just talked about the assistant ID. So you're going to paste your assistant ID here, and then your phone number ID is going to go here where the X's are. Okay. And then in name, you're going to find the customer name field, and you're going to map that in. So you're going to go to customer. So that's customer number. And then, all right. So actually it looks like I didn't include the name. So that's good. We're going to have to go back and let's see, probably get the customer name again. So name. All right, so I'm going to have to run the webhook module again and make sure that I include my name. So let's see what it does have. All right, so I'll go in and I'll map the phone number. So it looks like we do have the phone number here, customer number. Yeah, so all the fields that it collects are going to be under customer. So you can see this did not retrieve the email or the name. So I'm going to have to go back and try that again. So let's save that. And then let's disconnect it so we can run the webhook again. Okay, so now we're going to go back and we are going to create a custom tool. So this custom tool, the purpose is going to be to get the name and the email. So server URL, let me find that. Okay, so the issue with the name, the field mapping was actually because the webhook trigger is actually supposed to be triggered by the Go high level automation. Okay, so you can create a new automation from within Go high level, and then you can add whatever trigger that you want. So like say you add a tag, and that's actually what is going to trigger the webhook that sends the call through VAPI. So you're going to set up a webhook. Okay, then within the webhook, that's where you're actually going to paste your webhook URL from your make.com module. Then you're going to do the field mapping. So contact first name, last, and then you want to use the contact ID. And then you're going to save that. And then you're going to go back and you're going to run your module again. So I'm going to switch over. So you're going to run that module, and then you're going to go back into Go high level again, and you are going to test that workflow. So I'm going to run the test, and you have to make sure you publish it first. I'm going to run the test, and then I'm going to switch back again, and you can see it got all that data. Now I can actually go in and I can field map everything. All right, so I go here, I can map in the phone number. You can map in the first name, and then you can map in whatever other information you want as well. Don't forget the assistant ID and the phone number ID as well. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to hit save. All right, now everything is good. Now, um, that trigger on go high level should be what triggers the phone call through Vappy. So I'm going to test that out really quick. So I'm going to go back to high level real fast. Okay. Now I'm going to make sure you click run on your make scenario. So that should be running. So see here, that's running. Now I go back and I want to do a test. All right, so I'm going to enter in the phone number and I'm going to hit run test. Now I should be getting a phone call any second. So there it is. I hit answer.
Hey, this is Katie. I saw you were looking at our website. How can I help?
I want to set an appointment.
Of course. May I have your name?
All right, so that's all good. So now I go back and you can see that the make request was a success. So now the next thing that you're going to do is you want to set up a data storage. All right, so I'm going to hit plus, then I'm going to add a data store. And then the data store is going to be add or replace a record. I'm going to create a new data store. So I'm going to call it Vappy Test. Then you don't need to enter in a key. That's fine. Then you're going to basically map out the records, or you're going to go in and add the records. All right. So actually, when you create the data store, so let's call it Vappy Test 2, since you made a mistake. You do want to add a data structure. So specifications, you're going to add name. So it's going to be the contact's name, first name, and then you're going to add another item, contact ID. Okay, and you're going to save those. And then you're going to go in, you're going to map them. Then custom data first, ID. Okay. All right, all good there. So actually, we want to add the phone number in as well in the records. So now it's going to say first name, contact ID, and the contact's phone number. Okay, so now I'm running a test again. All right, now I'm going back to go high level. We're going to run the test to make sure all of the data is aggregated properly. Turn this up a little bit. All right. Hello?
Hey, this is Katie. I saw you were looking at our website. How can I help?
I'd like to set an appointment.
Of course. May I have your name, please?
All right. So we got all that data. Let's see. Record. All right. First name, Vappy. Yeah, so the name the name of the contact in Go High Level is Vappy Test, so that's good. Got the contact ID and the phone number, so everything should be stored properly. So we go in here, we refresh that, make sure. All right, so all the data is stored, so we're good there. All right, so now we're gonna save this scenario and we're gonna go back and we are gonna create a new one. So I'm going to create a new scenario and I'm going to call this one Vappy Test 2. So the purpose of that first scenario is to make the phone call. And now the second scenario is to intercept the call. So whenever somebody wants to set an appointment, then that webhook is actually going to be received by this particular scenario. Okay, so that we have to actually go back, and that tool that we created, we need to basically duplicate that and use the webhook that we are going to create, because you can't One thing that make.com changed is you can't use the same webhook twice. So now you create a new webhook, right? So we're gonna call this one Vappy Test 2. It's gonna create a new webhook, and then whenever that user or whenever that customer wants to set an appointment, this webhook is automatically gonna fire off instead of the other one. Okay. So we're gonna go and we're gonna set that up. So unfortunately here you can't change the webhook address within the tool that you created. So what we need to do is I just need to basically create the same tool all over again. So if you got to this step or like you skipped around and you created that tool at the beginning, don't even worry about that because you're gonna have to like remake it here anyways. So we're just gonna do that all over again. We're gonna make a new tool. And server URL. Okay. Scenario. Now you're going to copy the. Oops, I accidentally made a mail hook. So we're going to make a webhook. Custom. Okay. All right, custom webhook. Let me switch pages. All right, so I'm going to make a custom webhook again. I'm going to call this Vappy Test 2. Okay, all good. Now we're going to copy the address, the clipboard. We're going to go back over here and we're going to paste it. We're going to hit save. I'm going to call it appointment setter. An appointment with a customer. Setter. With a customer. Okay. Now I'm just going to go back. I'm going to create that. Now I'm just going to go back to that assistant and I'm going to swap out this one right here, this function with the new function that we just created. So it's no longer book appointment. Now it is appointment setter. I'm going to go back. All right. And when you put these brackets here, that is basically indicating that you want it to run a tool. So you always want to put those brackets around the function from within the prompt. All right. So now we're going to hit publish. And then we're going to go back to the webhook. And we're going to click save. And we're going to start running that. Okay. So now whenever the customer wants to set an appointment, this webhook is automatically going to fire off. Okay, so we're going to go back and we're going to run a test again. Oh, you know what I did? I need to run the other scenario as well. So that's not going to work unless I run the other scenario. So let me do that. So for the first scenario that you set up, the Vappy test scenario, this one, what you needed to do is you need to turn this toggle on. So that'll basically publish the scenario. So that way, whenever you run it, or when a go high level trigger goes off, it's automatically going to run this scenario. Okay, so now and then you click save. So that's good. Now I can go back. The other scenario is still running. Okay, I'm gonna run the test. All right, don't know what's happening, so let's look at that. All right. All right, so now there's something to troubleshoot here because we're getting a bad request on this side. So let's see what happened. Couldn't start call numbers problem. Number okay, so the problem is that this is a VAPI number, so I need to basically switch it over to one of my Twilio phone numbers. So let me do that, and I'll come back here. So this is why you should use Twilio. All right, so now we're gonna try this again. So let's run that one more time. Let's go back over here. All right. Now let's test. Oh. All right, switch pit. All right, so it's coming through. That's good.
Hey, this is Katie. I saw you were looking at our website. How can I help?
I'd like to set an appointment.
Great. May I have your name, please?
Jake.
Just a sec. Thank you, Jake. Now let's set up your appointment. What date and time works best for you?
Tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Hold on a sec.
All right, there it is.
This'll just take a sec.
All right, cool. So that came through on the webhook. So let's check that out. All right, cool. All right, cool. So we can move on to the next step here. All right, so now what you're going to do is you're going to add another module, and this one's going to be another data store module. So the purpose of this one is to search your records, and you're going to find the existing records from the data store that you set up in the previous scenario. All right, so you are going to create a filter. So that filter, let's see, is going to be based off of the contact's phone number. Customer. Okay, there's the phone number. All right, good. All right, so the purpose of this one is basically to pull, once that webhook has come in, the purpose of this is to pull the information of that customer. So that way, when it goes to set the appointment, it knows who that customer is in your Go high level platform. Okay. All right, now you're going to hit save. Then you're going to create another module. This one's also going to be a data store. This time it is basically just to get the records from the previous module. So get a record, and then you're going to use the key from the previous module. You're going to click save. All right, all good there. All right, so the next part is where it gets a little bit tricky. So you're going to create a ChatGPT module, okay? And you are going to create a completion. It's going to open up. You need to make sure that you obviously add your ChatGPT credentials. I eliminate the max completion tokens. I usually go with, I would say for something like this, probably 4.0 is good. Also, DeepSeek is getting pretty popular. I think DeepSeek is a lot more affordable than the ChatGPT tokens. I could test that out as well to see if that works, but I'll save that for a different video. So you go here. I'm going to select assistant. All right. Actually, better yet, we want to go with developer/system. Okay. Now for the text content, what you're going to do is you are going to copy this exact prompt And this is going to say, you will be provided with a future. So let me just kind of talk about this prompt first. So the purpose of the prompt is to basically format it in a way that when it goes over to, format the appointment time, it is formatted in a way that Go High Level can understand. But also, it is basically when this is going to return back as a webhook through VAPI to give the agent the information on how to set the appointment. Okay. So this is the prompt. I'll kind of just read through it. So you will be provided with a future day and time. Your only job is to receive the date and time and format it in this way. So you can see it fixes the format of the date and time. Nothing else in the output except the above format of the date you receive. Because oftentimes ChatGPT will return a bunch of irrelevant information in the output. The date is now. So to generate that, you just go up here, click on this little calendar, and you select the variable now. And basically that's going to pull whatever the current date is, because obviously your agent is not going to know what day and time it is. Any day you'll be provided with will be in the future. If the person communicates only day and time, like Monday 2 p.m., find that date, which will be maximum 7 days in the future from now. So this is basically prompting it to not set appointments too far out. If the person adds next, saying something like next Monday at 2 p.m., just skip one day of the same name. In the case of next Monday at 2 p.m., just skip one day and find the very next one. So that's so that way, if they say next Monday, right, and it's like Sunday, they're not just setting it for the Monday like following, like tomorrow, for example, right? Never give a date in the past, before, now. And, with these type of ChatGPT prompts, you want to be kind of repetitive. And then lastly, so this one is really going to differ based off of your time zone. I like to base everything off of Eastern time zone, even though I'm, Central right now. But I just like to base it off of Eastern. So that's personal preference. So lastly, subtract 5 hours for Eastern time due to the fact that this time is going to be mapped using UTC. So they use the universal time with these types of programming software. So you always need to make sure that you're designating that, and then reply only with the output response. So that way it's coming back in a way that Go High Level can understand. Then we're going to hit save. Actually, no, there's a second part to that. Now this is where you're going to enter in all the user's information. So you're going to create another message. This one's going to be user. Okay. And for this one, you want to tell it what time the appointment the user recommended. So we're going to find that. We're going to go maybe to customer phone tool calls function tomorrow at 2 p.m. All right, cool. All right, and then we're going to hit save. All right, so now for the next step over here, you're going to add another HTTP module. And this HTTP module is going to specifically be for Go High Level, okay? So it's going to be an HTTP basic auth request. All right, there it is. Okay, now let's switch over to the High Level API. All right, so you're going to copy and paste this link into the URL. All right, all good there. Now for the version, it's going to be a post module. So this step is specifically to set the appointment. So this is basically the final step. So for the header, you're going to enter the version. Now let's go back to the API again. And let's find the version here. So the version is going to be 2021-415. So for the authorization, so for auth, you're going to enter bearer and then your API key. So API key should be found if you go into high level. So you'll go to your business profile and then API key will be down there. So all good there. So I'm going to enter mine in. Authorization. All right, now I'm going to skip over this part. Okay, now at the bottom here, you're going to add a body type raw, and then you're going to select JSON. And then you're going to go back to the Go high level API docs. So let me change over to that. So the Go high level API docs, you have these here. And then that is how you are going to put together your body. So you're going to put together a JSON string, basically just with all of the field mappings that you want in the body. So in our case, we are going to do the calendar ID, contact ID, and start time. So I'm going to enter that in. All right, now remember, you need to map the contact ID as well as the start time in your module. So that's going to come from your data store. So contact ID, and then the start time is going to be the result from your ChatGPT module. All right, so everything is saved. So let's go ahead and run that module again. Wait for new data. We're going to run the other module as well. All right, now let's go ahead and let's trigger the action from Go high level. All right, enter the phone number in, run the test. Should be getting the phone call now.
Hey, this is Katie. I saw you were looking at our website. How can I help?
Oh, yeah, I want to set
Hi
an
there.
appointment.
What's your name? Sure. Just take your time. When you're ready, feel free to let me know how I can assist you.
I just want to set an appointment.
Great. I'd be
Set an appointment.
Absolutely. Can I have your name so I can set that appointment for you?
It's Jake.
Hold on a sec. Thank you, Jake. Now, could you please provide me with your email address so I can set the appointment for you?
It's Jake Triton at Gmail.
One moment. Thank you, Jake. It seems that I wasn't able to retrieve your details or set the appointment successfully. However, I can still set the appointment for you. What date and time would you like for your appointment?
Can you please set it for tomorrow at 2 p.m.?
One moment. Good morning, Jake.
Okay, that's strange.
If you're ready to set that appointment for... I understand that it might seem strange. I'm here to help you with anything you need. Would you like to try setting the
All right,
appointment
let's
again?
fix this.
Or is...
Okay, so I forgot to put in my authorization header, which is why I didn't go through. So let's go ahead and run this again. Yeah, and it's again, it's kind of glitchy, but this is for demonstration purposes. So like obviously you're gonna have to go back through it and adjust the prompt and everything, make it actually a lot better than that. But again, just an example. I promise that they're a lot more realistic than that. So, all right, let's go back and do that again. All right, let's run the test on high level. Oh,
Hey, this is Katie. I saw you were looking at our website. How can I help?
I'd like to set an appointment.
Of course. May I have your name, please?
Jake.
One moment. Thank you, Jake. Now, let me set up your appointment. What date and time works best for you?
Tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Hold on a sec. It seems there was an issue setting your appointment for tomorrow at 2 p.m. Let me try to set it again. One moment, please. Just a sec. I'm sorry, but it seems...
All right. So the reason why she said I'm sorry and all that is because you have to set um like a message at the very end of that, so that way when there's an actual success, that way it's confirmed. So you can see right here that the appointment was actually confirmed. So if I go back to my calendar and I check it, should tomorrow's Tuesday. Oh, there it is right there. So 2 p.m., which is 1 p.m. my time. So everything went through properly. So all good there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's go back. All right. Now also keep in mind that you can add additional scenarios with other tools, other webhooks that is Vappy can run. So for example, I have this one right here. So whenever somebody's not interested, it'll automatically run a webhook and tag them as not interested to take them off my list. And then also keep in mind that, that scenario that we just built, that does not take into account if the appointment is already booked on the calendar. So, you have to add that to your scenario as well. But yeah, that's exactly how, you set up an entire Vappy scenario and you're able to, set appointments using Vappy. Also, keep in mind that Vappy can make 10 concurrent calls at once. If you go into your call logs here, you can actually listen to all of the recordings from all your Vappy calls and see the cost of each call. So that way you can go in, you can audit it. You can adjust the prompt, things like that if you need to. But yeah, this is the exact workflow that I use to set 10 appointments in a single day for my insurance business. So if you need any help setting up the automation, we can schedule a call. Or if you just have any questions, just drop them below in the comment section. Thanks.